Good way to avoid a lot of the new troublemakers they brought in here during the COVID lockdowns. If you want a rundown of that, look at the 42% crime increase playlist. And that's not 42% just regular crime, violent crime, assaults, murders, attacks, sexual assaults, things like that. Stuff that never really happened here too much. Now it does because they brought the people in to do that during COVID lockdowns. It happened, you know, happened to everybody else too. So, you know, they opened up Pandora's box down there. Look into that whole thing. Pandora's box. Well, the dark evil in that was people that were not going to be able to live well besides anyone else because they're so biologically different. So beginning with the brain, it's completely different than nearly anyone else. It is closer, like some phenotypes are closer to others. White skins and Asians are pretty close as far as their anatomy. I mean, their biological sense. The words escape me. But these people that they brought, that they've spread out all over the world now, are the most different. And they're the least likely to be able to conform to any kind of civilized living. And, you know, you see it with these ungodly crime spikes that every city's getting. But one good thing, a good way to avoid them and their bullshit, is to go closer to nature. Because they hate nature. They hate the outdoors. They hate camping. They hate God's creation. Which is a clue there for you to look into. But anyway, so what I like to do when I've had enough of it, walking up to Long's here, I go back through this way, because over here there's a lot of trees and it's kind of foresty. If you've watched my videos, you've been through here. But yeah, and if it's coming across what I'm saying problematic, I like to keep in mind that even the doctors, the lawyers, and the thinkers in that group, if they had a button to press to kill me and my countrymen, they would press that so fast, the earth would shake. The earth would shake. I know how they feel about me. I feel the same way about them. And that is why I like coming up through here. I was watching this guy talk about the AI. He was, he'd been running some stuff for the AI, some biblical stuff. I think it was End Times Productions. Is that the channel? He's got some good stuff on there. He's got a lot of subs too, so, you know, of course I don't trust him, but he was trying to see if he could get biblical images of the Nephilim and demons, demonic entities, things like that. And what came up was almost identical to what I think they would be. We saw in Congress a couple years back now, there was this woman from Detroit, this congresswoman, that when she put her head down on TV, she pretty much vanished, and in her place was a demon. And people, when they think about demons and stuff and hellish creatures, they always imagine stuff from like Hollywood movies where they have like, where they look like snake people or like zombies or something, but they don't look like that at all. They're, in a way, they're a lot more disturbing because they're geometrically all shaped weird. They look like the old drawings. Like if you have those old books from, I was gonna say biblical times, but we're still in biblical times, where they have misshapen heads and they look almost like friendly in a way, in a weird way. They're like HR pup and stuff, Muppet kind of creatures. That's what they look like. From what I understand, from what I've discovered, blah, 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 couch, fucking couch. They look like that woman who, well, and I don't know what exactly happened there. Like maybe they were both in the same frequency, the same level. and the camera caught them, because camera can catch demons. Now when cameras catch demons, there's a lot of different frequencies they can catch. Sometimes they catch them when they're just white blobs. Usually that's how it is, like the train demons from Washington KC site. And sometimes they're more detailed, like the Congresswoman one. So anyway, the guy was trying to pull up, asking the AI for demon images, and son of a bitch, there you go. The AI knows what they look like, and they match that woman, and there you go. That's what they look like. Now you don't see them here because they're incorporeal here. You can't physically see them. The way I interact with them, and I have my stuff with me tonight, is through someone else's body, because it's the only way, you know, you can interact with them. Now if you can see them in their own area, on their own frequency, through a camera or video camera or something, then you get a better idea what they look like. And that's what I think is going on here. I had an experience too in 1996. I did a video about it where it was the solstice. That's when lines between these worlds are the thinnest, and we got a look at one. A friend of mine and me in our old comics shop, but that's a long story. But anyway, but we saw it look kind of solid and weird because we were seeing it in its own environment. It wasn't in ours. So when you see them in their own environment, they look more like they naturally do, and they look like that, like real goofy. There's modern kind of depictions of them too. If you look at the Iron Maiden, got a lot of artwork that they released around the time of their Number of the Beast album, and a lot of the demons there are the same. Like they look kind of they look the same way, like kind of all misshapen, all different weird sized heads and oversized eyes and things like that. That's kind of how they look. So when I saw him bringing those up, I thought it was just so creepy. I'm like, yep, that's them. That's what they look like. Roger and KC too. He has some videos where you can see them like that as well too. It all depends on how the camera catches them. Like certain cameras can pick up a range of frequencies depending on the light, the way it's reflecting at the moment, depending on the position of the camera. You get all different kinds of. You can see different images. You know. Which way am I going here? Gotta stay away from the music. I got copyright strikes for the music out here. Not that I care, I'm not like monetized, and so I don't have to worry about that, but yeah, I just ignore the copyright claims. I just don't do anything about it. I let them sit there. And if they take the video down or something, I don't care, because I don't make another one, you know, I don't care. There's 800 of them. I'm not gonna, like, you know, not gonna make a stand for one. The AI knows a lot of stuff, and I've talked about that before. Like you can trick it into giving you information because it has all the information. It has to, because the weirdos use it for their own purposes too. So it needs to have all the correct information about whatever, you know, whatever is out there in the world. But they have governors in place. They have limiters in place, like our bodies do, that limit us and govern us. That system, but you can work around it, and it's easy to do it. I've done videos where I was talking to my ChatGPT, and I've showed some of the results. I got it to tell me things that I was assuming it knew, just by doing basic, like, not child psychology, but just you rope-a-dope it. You know, by asking it a series of questions, you can come in through the back door and get them to say, or get them to admit what you need them to admit. I should get that again, in fact, just to play with it some more. But I think as it goes along, it's supposedly, right, it's learning more. You know, and it fixes the blind spots. But the information's there. So if you know how to play with it, like I got us to talk to me about interdimensional travel, which it at first denied existed and said it was like a story. said it was myth and fairy tale. And within like 5 minutes, I had it explain to me, you know, why you need spun mercury to do it. And I learned something from it. Like, I knew you needed spun mercury, but I guess what happens is it splatters it everywhere, and you have to be within the area that it covers. I never knew that. I didn't know how they were using it. I just knew that they were using it. So yeah, I learned some things from it too. But if I could think of something that I needed to know, like the real answer to, you know, I'll get it again. It's like $10 a week. The one I got, like $8.99 a week. I'm sure there's like better deals now. There's all different kinds. Like they have ChatGPT 4 now, or GTP, GPT, TGP. Yeah, 4 is the one you want. That's the one you want. And it's going to get more advanced. And do I have a coin? I don't think I threw one in over at this is the only pseudo superstitious thing I still do. Money and water. Uh-oh. I don't have a quarter. It's got to be a quarter. Can't be nickel. Unless I can get nickels and dimes that go up to 25. Oh, here we go. There we go. Oh, I hit something in there. Bang. Walk over here. See my man Don Ho. His tiny bubbles. Yeah, I did a video before this one, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to use it. Because it was like a little meltdown about how they ruined the neighborhood. And so I don't know if I can get away with it. Hi Don, how you doing, buddy? It's a thing that people talk about a lot in private. I talk to my neighbors about it. I kind of answer them a lot. Like, I give them the answers to the questions because I've autistically investigated the whole situation. You know, I searched out paperwork and things. That's one good thing I can do well is research, because it was a big part of my job for many years. I worked in land survey in civil engineering for, I guess, over 30 years. And I still, and now I do some stuff for my house. But what it taught me is how to research. And I was researching before there was an internet, you know, in the 1980s, as a young kid. I think I started, what was it, 1983 or 84. I was 14 years old, and I started working for my dad's engineering company. He gave me a job on a party, on a crew. Those guys that go out, and you might see them with the tripod cameras. I was one of those dudes. And throughout the years, I've done just about every aspect of that job. Plot plans, drafting. I was a draftsman for a while, but it was just really boring. I'd rather be outside. The day moves quicker. But research was a huge part of it. And what we'd have to do is, like, when we want to get information on a piece of property, we'd have to go to that town and go to that town hall and go into the archives. Some of these places, like, and I was not pilled about how history's fake and all this other bullshit. So thinking back on it now, it's really crazy. This one place in Salem, Mass, specifically, we'd go to Salem Town Hall, and we'd go into this vault, and there was a vault inside a vault. And it was this very old-looking room with these huge books that you needed 2 men to open, right? I didn't realize at the time, like, I didn't think about it. Like, why do you need 2 guys to open these are field books, right? Meaning that they're notes that you take when you're in the field. They're usually about, you know, hand size. Oh, speaking of hand size, I'm going to take a quick detour here to show you something. And I'll get right back to research. But I've been, like, bringing my demon bag out, which I have right here. And I've been bringing, like, a big Bible with me, just in case. And I'm talking about how hilarious it would be to whip a Bible out, you know. Hopefully it didn't ever get to that. But I forgot that I had this Bible. I thought this was just Psalms. It's not. It's the entire New Testament. It's designed like a school locker, but it's got the New Testament, Psalms, and Proverbs. Psalms is pretty much the magic spells. You know, I would say basically the entire Bible is a magic book. It passes down how to use magic, but Psalms is like are the spells, you know, in their most basic form. How for something that you can use immediately. Anyway, what was I talking about? Oh yeah. So you go into these old crypts. They're like crypts, and it had all the information. These giant books that you need 2 men to carry, and inexplicably, but at the time I didn't think it was strange. So what you do is you go in there, and if you can do a property search, you can get a lot of information on people, you know, because anyone that's tied to that property, it gives you the whole rundown of their family and their lineage. Like the person that owns this, their father was this guy, their friend, they're married into this. People don't really, people overlook the importance of property records. In fact, I used it to fucking fuck with whatever newspaper is here. But is it Honolulu Times, whatever. On their Twitter, they had when this Cove thing went down. The big story from here was that the first person in Honolulu that had it was a bartender who caught COVID. There was this big, I don't know if they had him killed or something. It didn't matter. It didn't exist anyway. And so everyone was like, oh wow, it's too bad. And then they showed his mom in there, and immediately I'm like, what bar was he at? Because there's not a lot of places. There aren't a lot of like bars down here. So using property records, I determined that the address that the woman and her family supposedly lived at was owned by that woman, but she'd been dead for 7 years. And the son didn't even exist. So I started posting this information on their Twitter, and they weren't happy. They weren't real happy about that. And I never saw another fake dead person again. But they tried it. You know, they wanted to get some fear going here. So you could tell just by looking at it, like it was so weird anyway. Like they had this photo of him standing behind like this foresty backyard that looked like it was taken in New England, and his face looked all weird. He didn't look real. Then they had a picture of him and his mom, which is another one of these computer-generated pictures, and this whole story. And you know, locally people just were leaving all these comments about how terrible it is, and probably some people in there claiming to know him even though they couldn't have because he didn't exist. But yeah, I called bullshit on that right away, and I was retweeting them with my information that the woman didn't exist, all this stuff. They never responded. I don't think I got blocked or anything. Some people really got mad at me, like, how dare you do this? This poor guy is dead. I'm like, yeah, he's so dead that he didn't even exist. So right away you could see, even that early in the process of bullshit, that you were going to have, there was going to be people that were going to be trouble, you know. And the trouble people, for me, were going to be the Team Bluers, because very early it was determined that everything comes prepackaged politically now, right? So we're like, well, if you don't kowtow the government and do everything they say, then you are a Trump following, you know, whatever. You're a red state person. That's kind of unfair. I mean, there's no in between. But that's how everything is, man. It's like, there is no centrist position, or they don't allow one. And either side will run you down if you don't go all in with them. You know, the red side will tell you, yeah, you can't be a fence sitter. And then the other side will just tell you, like, whatever, you know, they're not even talking, they don't even make sense. So, I mean, it sucks. It's like here's the thing. Simple. Don't engage with it. Just don't engage with it. Don't engage with those people. You don't have to. If you don't play the gay little game, then they can't do anything to you. They want you to play that game. You don't have to. You don't have to do it. And then they get real mad for a while, but then they leave it alone. You know? What do you mean you won't play our game? You have to pick a side. But you have to. Or else you can't play our gay little game. It's like, I don't want to, you know. You can't do that because you trap yourself. You know, you end up trapping yourself. And then you become, on the side you picked, You have to uphold all the insanity that they want you to uphold, because there's a lot of they'll eat each other really quick, and purity spiral. And then the other side is going to attack you with all this other weird stuff. The way to circumvent the whole situation is just don't engage with it. Just don't. You don't have to do it. You know, there's the third option, which is no option. That's the best way to do it. You know, it's one of the biggest controls that they have. That's why they need you to. They need you to get on one side or the other, because they gotta, you know, it's a way that they maintain control. Full shit. You're full shit. All right, I'm gonna walk on home now. Gonna walk on home, boy. Don't blame the teacher. Blame the school.